We are not nearly done fighting. We are just getting started. To win this and to defeat the prosecutors from the Southern District of New York takes effort from beginning to end.
Yeah, that was Sean Diddy Combs' defense team just after he was found guilty last year, and they were right. That verdict, not the end. His legal team is now arguing that the disgraced music mogul should be released immediately. Diddy is pressing an appeals court right now to overturn his conviction and his 50-month prison sentence, claiming that the judge in his case was wrong to consider his prior abusive conduct, including graphic testimony from two of his ex-girlfriends. Diddy's lawyers blasting the judge for acting like a 13th juror, they said. But that judge said he had to consider all of the defendant's history in the trial over Diddy's drug-fueled marathon sexual encounters known as freak-offs. We want to bring in now criminal justice attorney Alexandra Kazarian to talk more about this. Alexandra, thank you so much for being here. And I understand that you work with attorney Mark Geragos, who at one point, of course, represented Sean Diddy Combs. What is your sense of this tonight? Because Diddy's defense team is calling this a perversion of justice. They claim that the judge took into consideration charges that Diddy was acquitted of during sentencing, adding that his sentence is roughly 4 times higher than typical penalties for someone with the same conviction. Do you agree that the punishment does not fit the crime here?
Absolutely. When you come down to it, the additional information that the judge was considering at sentencing, which Diddy was convicted of, had nothing to do, which Diddy was acquitted of, had nothing to do with the charges that he was actually convicted of and that the judge should have been considering during sentencing. They are absolutely different. They were not related at all. And although the law does allow judges to bring them in certain circumstances during the trial, once a jury has decided that they have acquitted the defendant of these charges, it is absurd for a judge to be able to use it to sentence him to a harsher penalty for a crime that has nothing to do with those allegations.
Do you think that we could see Diddy released from prison soon?
I think so. I think that if the appellate judges decide that it was inappropriate for the judge to enhance his sentence, then yes, if they bring it down, Diddy could be out. And frankly, I think he should be.
All right, I appreciate that. A separate major headline, meanwhile, right now, I also want to ask you about the DOJ investigating the NFL over antitrust issues. They're looking into whether the league has made it simply too expensive and too confusing to watch pro football. So we actually crunched the numbers on this. To tune into the games next season could cost us close to $1,000, with the NFL airing across 10 different networks plus streaming services. What do you make of this?
Right. The problem is that if you want to watch a football game, you can't just pay to watch a football game. You've got to get these bundles that include absolutely everything, things that you don't want. So the NFL has argued that there are still streaming there's games that are available on streaming that you don't have to pay for, so that the bulk of the games are available for free. But absolutely, the issue that the DOJ is looking at is whether they have packaged all of these in a way that just makes it absolutely impossible for the public to be able to afford to watch the games they want to watch.
Let's take a moment to listen to FCC Chairman Brendan Carr on this issue.
Look, Americans are out there every day. They're working hard. And one of the things that we love to do is get home, take Sunday, turn on the TV, very quickly find the big game you want to watch, either for free over the air or as part of your basic cable. And that experience has become frustrating over the last several years. It's more complex. It's more costly. You effectively have to have a computer science degree to decipher this. As you noted, people have to sign up for Netflix and Hulu and YouTube and Google. It's very, very difficult these days.
So what can the Department of Justice actually do here? Can they put limits on the number of streaming services involved?
If they find that there is a violation, then yeah, they can. The question is whether there's a 1961 law that exempts the NFL from these antitrust laws. So the question is, does that apply to streaming? But yeah, if they're found in violation, then absolutely they can order them to get rid of these bundles and make these games available individually so that people have a much easier time to watch their games that they want to come home to and relax to.
All right, with the time we have left, I want to switch gears for the final question. We're seeing unsealed search warrant showing letters between Tyler Robinson, who is the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk, and his roommate. In one of the letters, Robinson says that he had, quote, an opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and he, quote, took it. The prosecution says that this proves Robinson is the shooter here. Do you think this letter alone proves that he killed Charlie Kirk? Is this a slam dunk case for the prosecution?
You know, I understand I'm biased because I'm a criminal defense attorney. I've done criminal defense my whole life. But when I talk to people about this case, this is the one that people are absolutely willing to take a conspiracy theory all the way through. And it's wild to me that when you talk to the general public, the more evidence that comes in against him seems to work against the prosecution. It just seems to be, there's just so much that keeps popping up that's perfectly in line with the prosecution that I think it might be at this point working against the prosecution. Sure, it looks like great evidence if you take it at face value, but I think people lately are much more willing to really dissect this evidence, and they're wondering why does this keep popping up so perfect? Why does this perfect evidence keep popping up? So it's really interesting.
All right, Alexandra Kazarian, appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.